Good morning, students. It is the second video of the poem A Photograph, in which I would not only tell you about the summary, but I will also explain all the poetic devices that are used in this poem so that you will understand about it. This poem is so important because it tells us about the two generations that they felt pleasure and they also just feel the pain of separation because the death really spares. Shirley Tulson was born on 20th May 1924 in England. She was writer, editor, and keen under influence of Celtic Christianity. In this very poem, a photograph describes the emotions felt as she remembered the story behind the image and what it means to the poet. This is the poem. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and see the big girl, some 12 years or so. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera. A sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, vast, real, terribly transient fate. Some 20, 30 years later, she would laugh at this snapshot. See Betty and Dolly, she would say. And look how they dressed us for the beach. The sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. Both arrive with the levered ease of loss. Now she has been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived, and of this circumstance there is nothing to say at all. It's silence, silence is really, it's a very thoughtful, poignant poem which really makes us understand about the essence of one's mother in one's life. Really, mother is so important, but mother also has some cherished past, desired past that she has enjoyed. And how did she enjoy the holiday going to the sea beach? Because it was not the time of spending the time in theater or watching the movies on internet, but it was a time when people went in the lab of nature. Here the poet tries to tell us about the permanence of the natural things as well as the temporary life that is human beings. So it tells us about the mortality as well as immortality of lives. Main idea of this poem is death can numb you and leave you at loss of words. The finality of death and the loss cannot be expressed in words. Death can silence you and leave you speechless. As it is said, its silence silences. The mother missed her past and found it amusing, and daughter missed her past with her mother. That is the time she spent with her mother when she was alive. The words transient fit has a special significance. They show how transient, temporary human life is in comparison to the natural substances like sea, sun, moon, stars, and mountains, etc. The poet realizes that she has lost her mother, and so that labored is of loss sits him. Labored is of loss means it is quite not natural, it is artificial, means she died before the maturity of human life. She died young. That very sense just comforts her as well as it makes her freedom from difficulty or pain that is beyond our control. The word is of loss because it is difficult for her to forget her mother and put behind her past and move on. It has ease. It has ease because the pain of the loss is reduced with time. Time heals everything. Time acts as a healer and the daughter moves on. So even though she has not really forgotten her mother, but then she is not even in as great pain now, 12 years after her mother's death, as she was when her mother died. Means after the death, one is totally confused, shocked, and stunned. But as the time passes on, one really compensates the feeling of loss and then he has to move on. Nothing stays on. So it says about the life moving on, not at one single point, but it continues to keep forward. The poem A Photograph contains the oxymoron labored is, which in the context of loss may mean avoiding the public display of grief. So it is a oxymoron labored is. Both of them are contradictory words, and so it is the poetic device that is oxymoron. Here, this is alliteration. It is the use of the same sound at the beginning of words that are close together. For example, it is given, my mother's hands stood still to a smile, terribly transient fit, silences. So these are the examples of alliteration as you find my mother's hands, letter is continuously used. Stood still to smile, ss letter is used continuously, very close. Terribly transient fit, t, and in fit there is t. Silences, both the words begin with s, so it is what the alliteration. Transferred epithet. What is this? It is a literary device in which an adjective is usually used to describe one thing that is transferred to another. As vast their terribly transient fit. So here you find that vast their terribly transient fit. Whose transient fit, temporary fit? The poet's mother. Means the sea is the same and it has vast there, terribly transient fit. It had passed long ago and now it is still present, and but she is present but the mother is no more there. So this refers to transferred epithet. Personification. It is the attribution of human characteristics to non-human things and animals. As the cardboard shows me how it was. Here, cardboard is what? Non-human things. But here it is shown as the person how it was that the cardboard is acting like humans. So it is personified. Oxymoron, it is the combination of two words that seem to be the opposite of each other, that is, labored is. So here you have understood about the poetic devices as well as the main points and the poem that are essential to understand. Thank you, children. Thank you. I hope you will understand each and everything. That's all.